Hi everyone, Ivo once again, and I wanna welcome back for another movie review for Arnold Schwarzenegger. And today I'm going to review, and of course I'm gonna give my retrospective review, and that's Total Recall. Came out June 1st, 1990, and I'm gonna talk a lot about this film. What can I say about Total Recall? It's actually an epic classic sci-fi film, one of the best movies that Arnold actually did. And no offense, but I put this movie above T2. I think this movie is better than Blade Runner. I think it's better than T2. I think it's better than all Star Wars movies. All Star Wars movies, they had nothing on Total Recall. I think it's better than Alien or Aliens. I love Total Recall to death. I grew up with this movie. It's a classic. It's an epic as fuck, instant classic. It's a gory. It's an rated R sci-fi action film. My favorite sci-fi films. Not my number one. Number one will be Demolition Man. That's movie right in the middle, above in the middle, right with Hard Target. And this movie Roadhouse. But actually, I will be definitely it's in my top five sci-fi movies, and I love this movie to death. I love Total Recall to death. I grew up with this movie. I watched it non-stop. Commando, The Running Man, Red Heat, and Total Recall on VHS. I watched non-stop as a kid. Every time I came from school, I watched Arnold films. Definitely those four that he did, especially Total Recall. But yeah, so now the retrospective. I do have the Blu-ray. This is the German Blu-ray. It's actually Recall Ultimate Edition. It's remastered version on it. The picture quality is great. Here's again. This is the back. This is all right in Germany. It has special features. On the disc is actually the disc is actually the US version. I have two discs. One of is the US, the other one is from Germany, but it's all the US version. And this is the book. This is the book that you get back. How they filmed the film. It's actually written all in Germany. I think you should get this book. But this is Paul Verhoeven, the director, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and of course you see the Mars. And of course Melina and Arnold, Rachel Ticotin, she plays Melina, Douglas Quaid's dream girl. Then also in the cap, Douglas Quaid and Melina. Here we have the director Paul Verhoeven. From RoboCop, Arnold and Paul Verhoeven. The production design, Rob Bottin did the special effects and animatronics. I love how he did it. Rob Bottin did such a great job on the thing, so he was hired on this movie. He did great job. Fantastic setting, great puppet, great models, great vehicles they did in this movie. I mean, this movie is instant classic. I have to talk about it, and I gave my retrospective on Total Recall. And what's my third? It's actually I forgot to mention, but it's my third favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger film. I put it in top 20 favorite action films. And yes, I love Total Recall to death. I love Total Recall to death. My top three Arnold films are Predator, The Running Man, and Total Recall, and all three of them are actually my top 20 favorite action films. I love this movie to death. The design, how they created the Mars, the setting, the models, the mutants, the puppetry. It's just awesome, just epic how they did it. I mean, I miss this kind of sci-fi action movies. It's rated there, and those are my sci-fi action movies. This is my favorite sci-fi action film. This is my movie. I also do have another. I do have the Handmade Blu-ray. This is the Handmade, and this is the original Germany disc. I have both of them because I'm a fan. I collect the things. I'm a collector, and this is actually from the Germany disc, but this is handmade. The back is better. Arnold in that machine, wiping his memory. So yeah, you have everything here. It's handmade. It's a custom handmade. I'm keeping it because I'm a collector, but love this one. Now, direct has been by Paul Verhoeven, while three screenwriters were working on the film, and they were Ronald Shusett and Dan O'Bannon. They both wrote the screenplay for Alien 1979, and of course the third one was actually Gary Goldman. He was the third screenwriter, which three screenwriters they actually worked on this film. And let's talk now retrospective. Let's talk how this movie was actually made. It all began in 1986. I'm just gonna call it 1986. During the production and making the movie Raw Deal, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think he heard or read it for Total Recall, because Total Recall actually was actually invented by Dino De Laurentiis in the company, the company, and because Arnold had only two deals, Raw Deal, and he was interested because he had one picture left. He was interested in Total Recall when he, I think, read the script. But Dino De Laurentiis did not see him to be capable for the making this movie, so he did not want to cast him in the film. So he already, De Laurentiis already cast Patrick Swayze, and they're supposed to go and film this movie in Australia. But during the movie, when Arnold did Raw Deal, and the movie when he completed the movie, when he was cast to do Predator, Dino De Laurentiis' company collapsed. They went out of money in bankruptcy, and the movie and the company collapsed. And during while Arnold was filming Predator, he was talking with producer Joel Silver from Demolition Man, Die Hard, and Roadhouse back there, if he would be interested making the movie Total Recall with him. But I think that Joel Silver wasn't interested to be on board. So Arnold went to Carolco to the company. The Carolco did they actually did Rambo First World Part 2, Rambo 3. They did Cliffhanger. He also did Red Heat. He also did with them Red Heat until he did this movie and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. They also did Basic Instinct, which Paul Verhoeven and Sharon Stone from this movie reunited. But yeah, he went to Carolco, and he was pursuing them to buy the rights for this movie for $3 million. And he succeeded. He got the power. He also negotiated with them about his fee that will be around $10-11 million, and plus 15% of profit that he plays the lead role. And he got the power, and this is actually Arnold's film because he wanted, and Total Recall is a beautiful movie. And before I continue, Arnold brought Paul Verhoeven, the director, because he was impressed with RoboCop. Yes, he was offered the role of RoboCop, the main lead, but he chose Predator instead. But he was impressed how Paul Verhoeven did RoboCop, so he bring him on board. And he also bring on board two screenwriters, which were also Dan O'Brien. No, I forgot. Dan O'Bannon and of course Ronald Shusett. And yes, they wrote a script, and there was 42 drafts, but the third act was uncompleted. So Arnold bring Gary Goldman to complete the third act, which he did. And Paul Verhoeven while he was chosen to do this film by Karolko, he also bring a lot of people with him, and that were also from he collaborated with the cast from previous that they were together in RoboCop, and those were actor Ronnie Cox. Ronnie Cox was in Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. He played Dick Jones in the original RoboCop, and he also played Milos Kohinen in this movie. He also collaborated with cinematographer Joe Svacano, production designer Willem Sandel, editor Frank J. Oriust, and special effects designer Rob Bottin. He did the puppetry, the animatronics, the visual effects. Rob Bottin did fantastic job, a beautiful job. And the filming took place from March 20 till 23 August 1989 by location Mexico City. And the futuristic subway station and vehicles are part of the Mexico City Metro. So they designed it in City Metro and they filmed most of the scenes there. The special effects are great. The visual effects by Rob Bottin was great. The filming was great. And the performance was great. Yeah, so Total Recall, like I said, for June 1999, get ready for the ride of your life, because you're short, because I love how they designed the Mars. I love everything about this film. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance, but I love special effects for Mars, how they created the Mars, how they made completely great. You know, there's an audio commentary with Arnold and Paul Verhoeven, but Arnold doesn't give that much respective, you know, unlike Paul Verhoeven. But yeah, because yesterday when I was listening, there was like that scene. I think there was that scene with Benny in that machine drill, you know, and I wanted to know how Arnold was filmed, and Arnold didn't even said much about it, how he did it. You know, it feels like they didn't even watch the movie together. That's how it felt, you know. And I heard Paul Verhoeven getting respected, but Arnold didn't. I don't know why. At least maybe I just feel that way. I didn't listen whole track, but yeah. But the picture quality is actually better. The US, I think, is better picture quality in my opinion than German. But yeah, as to the movie, yeah, I already gave that. So that was that. This movie also did got yeah, this movie also earned yeah, this movie also won Special Achievement Award for Visual Effects. It won 2 Oscars for Best Sound and Best Effects and Sound Effects. So yeah, it was nominated. It actually won Special Achievement Award. Even the music score by Jerry Goldsmith also won an award. I think it was for MTV Award for Best Music Score. But this movie won Special Achievement Award for Visual Effects, because visual effects are impressive. They're great. I'll say this movie is better to me than Blade Runner. I like the effects in Blade Runner, but Total Recall is better. Has better action, better gory. The budget, this is actually the most expensive movie at the time to make. It was actually $65 million cost them. Earned $261 million. It was a huge hit because it was released in June 99, so it was a summer film. It was awesome. It was great. It was actually great. During the production of the film, all the crew fell ill due to food poisoning during production, except Arnold Schwarzenegger and screenwriter Ronald Shusett. Arnold was not sick because he brought his food from the US, and because when he was drinking water, during production of Predator, he got sick. So he learned his lesson and he bring his food with him from the US, from home. While Ronald Shusett, he also was brushing his teeth and getting a weekly B12 shot getting a weekly B12 shot. But yeah, and he was mocked by the cast, and until they all got sick, he was the only one that wasn't sick. There was also when Arnold was filming the scenes with Michael Ironside as a villain, he noticed that Michael Ironside's non-stop on the phone, and one day he asked him, I think he asked someone, and they told him that I think his sister was sick, was ill, so he invited Michael Ironside in the trailer, and he helped him a lot. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the head of this film. He's a great human being, the best human being I've ever say. And he went and helped Michael Ironside. They talked for at least 2-3 hours, so that he felt much better. And I love that. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the one that this movie was made, not Dino De Laurentiis. I don't know if I already said the extras, but it has making of featurette, model skeletons, the special effects of Total Recall, Imaginational Recall documentary, restoration, comparison, trailer, photo gallery. I checked photo gallery, the audio stars, the menu stars. You have a music from Jerry Goldsmith. Jerry Goldsmith's music is beautiful. The effects are great. Now, that's my retrospective. Now let's go to the plot and the story. I actually kind of did few notes because I watched this movie yesterday, and I know I tried to record it last night, did not work, so I'm doing now. I think was so the movie starts. It's actually a futuristic sci-fi film. The movie is actually set. It's actually set in the future. I think the year was 2084. The year was 2084. Douglas Quaid, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is actually a construction worker who works, who has a wife. He has a dreams. He actually has a dream about the brunette girl. He has a dream girl. He dreams about a girl on a Mars. But something happened through the suit. He accidentally lands on the sand and broke his head. And he starts. You see the eye popping. Great special effects. And he wakes up and we find out that he has a wife. The Laurie, played by sexy Sharon Stone. She plays Douglas' wife. He wakes up with wife while working on a construction. While working, it's actually Sharon Stone with that beautiful head, but yeah, she's beautiful. She's actually his wife. While working construction, while he goes in the while Douglas Quaid goes on a train station on the train, for work, he sees the commercial about this company that implants memories, that implants artificial memories in your brain, and he wants he asked one of his co-workers, Harry, to if he ever heard about recall, and he said that he wants not to go to recall because the last time he heard about a man was they actually fried his brain, but without any condolence with his wife Laurie, and without against his advices from his friend, he goes. Quaid goes anyway to recall to the company that the Empire's artificial memories, and he wants to take a trip on Mars for 2 weeks, and he and he pays them, and he gets himself implants artificial memory, and he chooses status as a secret agent, and he describes his dream girl, which is actually the woman from his dream, brunette, slim, sleazy. He describes her, and that's Rachel Ticotin. You know, that's her. That's Rachel Ticotin, and he describes her. And while the workers of the recall company are actually working on his trip to Mars because he paid them, he paid them. You know, they did not implant his memory yet by Dr. Dool, played by Rosamund Dunsmore, and McClane is actually McClane for this movie. McClane is actually the character. McClane is actually the director of the company, and while they try to implant him, there's like another person wakes up, and now it's Hauser. You know, we later found out his name's Hauser, and he keeps screaming that you're gonna blow my cover, they're coming, and they use that stun gun to make him fall asleep, and they decide to destroy his application. And if anyone asks them about Douglas Quaid, they're gonna say they never heard about Douglas Quaid, and they bring him in a cab. And the next thing, Douglas wakes up, he's actually in a cab, and he doesn't remember anything. And he asks the puppet model who's driving the taxi how I get here, and says you sit there, and that's how it was. So he goes now back home, but he meets his co-worker Harry, and Harry asks him how was the recall, and Quaid doesn't remember anything. Then a couple, 3, 4 guys grabs Quaid, and they grabs him, you know, while Harry says let's go to the drink, and they start attacking him. And instead, you know, Quaid says you're making a big mistake, and goes and kicks everyone's ass. He goes and breaks Harry's neck with his leg. He grabs the guy, breaks his neck. The other guy tries to shoot him. He blocks he blocks, goes behind, shoots him, and shoots then another attacker. Kills all of them. You know, like a badass he is, kills all of them. Then he runs home and tells Laurie, played by Sharon Stone, what happened. And he says that Harry was the boss. They tried to kill him, and he says that he went to recall. And Laurie says, you went to the brain butchers? Tell me what they do. and Doug says, no, Harry tried to kill me, and Harry was the boss, and they tried to kill me. And I love when Laurie says, no one tried to kill you. No one. Doug, those assholes by brain butchers, they fuck your mind. You know, just your imagination. I'm gonna call the doctor, and of course Doug said, Quaid said, don't call anyone. He goes in the bathroom, wash his hands, you know, he has all bloody hands, goes out, and someone tries to kill him with a flashlight, starts shooting at him, and Arnold jumps like a badass he is, jumps, you know, says, Laurie, go get away. He grabs the chair, throws the person the chair, and grabs the attacker, opens he goes and clicks turns the lights, and it's actually Laurie, and she tries to kill him, you know. She uses martial arts, like a high kick with his leg, uses martial arts, grabs the knife, tries to stab him. She slashes his wrist, slashes his stomach, like all bloody. She slashed her stomach and make a long wrist, you know, the long cut on his wrist. She tries to stab him, but Doc overpowered her. He showed her, grabbed the gun, and then he found out by Laurie when he defeated her, he didn't kill her. Laurie told him that everything that he knew was alive. Their marriage, their job, everything was actually a lie. And now 4 attackers, one of them is Michael Ironside, who plays Richter. He's actually he's a real great villain. And his man, one of them was also Helm, played by Michael Champion. They run in the apartment. He escapes. Doc goes and punches Laurie. Says clever girl, punches her, and he escapes. And while he goes in the monitor, and while those guys are chasing him, he became chased on Mars. He jumps through the monitor to the glass, and that was a stunt double, was done for real. He jumps out, and he goes and kicks everyone. As he escapes. Runs on the train station, breaks the glass, jump in the train. Richter goes fire with his machine gun. He goes fire, then he's pissed. He gets pissed because he escaped, and because he found out that Richter and Laurie were actually a couple. She was actually his girlfriend. She was on that assignment. And they have a tracker, and they actually have a bug in his skull. And when Quaid shows up, unharmed on the motel, he gets a call by a man and tells him, they're gonna be here any minute. They're tracking you. Don't worry, they're gonna find the tracking device. It's actually in your skull. Now grab the towel and put it around your head so you can block the signal. And Quaid does that, and he tells him, I'm gonna leave now the suitcase here. There's no time, there's no time. Take the suitcase and goes a separate way, or something like that. And Quaid goes after him. He tells that he's actually party from agency. Quaid goes after the suitcase. There's like old lady grabs the suitcase, and I love it when Quaid says, "Sorry, lady, but I need it. Sorry, man, but I need it. It has a name on it, but I need it. Fuck you asshole!" And I don't know. I love the guy to death. And he goes in the taxi, and of course now Helm and Richter find him. He goes in the taxi and he says to that puppet, that animatronic model in the taxi, he tells him, drive. What's your location? Drive. It's no for me. Sorry, it's not familiar. Shit. Sorry, I don't have that. I don't know. It's not familiar. And Arnold rips that puppet apart, grabs the wheel and drives. And Richter starts firing at him. And he escapes. He escapes, Richter and his man. And he goes out. On the safe. And the guy says, that's 18 credits. And Arnold says, sue me, dickhead. And he tries to run over Arnold. Arnold ducks, and the car goes, crashes, and there's an explosion. Practical explosion. It's actually a practical explosion, which I love that, It's actually a practical explosion. I forgot the scene on the train station when Arnold jumps, when Quaid jumps off the window. That's a stuntman. And he's been chased. A couple guys try to kill him, like on the stairs, and Arnold grabs the guy, for a shield, and then starts firing the bad guys, bang, 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 bang. He goes and fires the bad guys, and the other one keeps shooting. He shows the body on Richter and Helm, and fires the bad guy. Also while chasing, while he goes and chases. While Richter chases Doc, he also stabs one of his men, and there's like a lot of blood in this movie, which I love that. And so, like I said, now in the abandoned construction, in the Mauer, he finds he finds all the spy equipments and finds out that he really was a spy, and he finds a hologram of Hauser of Arnold himself being recorded, which he tells him that he says, "Get your ass on Mars, get your ass on Mars," and he tells him that that he worked for Cohegan, for the agency. He was a spy agent, but he met this woman, Melena, and he showed him. He actually showed him that he was on the wrong side. He decided to be with rebellion, to side with the rebellion, and that's Cueto, who's actually the leader of the rebellion. While Governor Cohegan, Miloš Cohegan, wants to rule the planet Mars, and the hologram Hauser tells him to go to Mars. He also uses that tool to get the back out of the skull. Careful, painful. He uses the back out of his skull, and of course now Richter and his men showed up. And Arnold destroys everything, the evidence that he goes to Mars. He goes and shows the back to the Reds, and Richter and everything goes and start firing, like Chappie, there. Helm says, there. I love that scene. While Quaid already escaped, and Richter finds that their back was actually eaten by rats, and he goes, shit, what? Fires, and we see now all the blood, we see now all the blood from the rat on the blood on the monitor. So now Quaid goes, as disguised as a woman, as a fat woman, Priscilla Allen. He goes on the border of Mars, and he says 2 weeks. How long does it say? 2 weeks. Do you have any luggage? 2 weeks, And I love that animatronic puppetry that Rob Bottin created. Great animatronic. And meantime, of course, Richter shows up with his man, Helm, and he finds out that the woman is actually great, and the head opens. You have great puppetry. The head goes and opens. That scene. Yeah. The head goes. That scene. The head goes and opens. And a great puppetry. And I love when Richter says, "Catch him, her," and he grabs that mask. Which that head opens and closes, and he smiles, says catch, throws the head, and the head speaks and said, "Get ready for a surprise." And Arnold runs. There's explosion, practical explosion, and while Quaid tries to escape, Richter fires at him, but he causes a compression. In the huge tornado with the compression on the Mars, until one of the co-workers close it, and Quaid escapes, and then he's on this train, and we see a beautiful effect of the Mars, so beautiful. They created so beautiful. Rob Bottin did so beautiful, created effect. So he goes now to the motel, and he finds out with his false documents. He finds out that he has to go to last resort, to the nightclub. So he chooses the taxi driver, Benny, played by Mel Johnson, Jr., played by Mel Johnson Jr. as Benny. He goes. He drives to last resort, to the last resort, and he asks about Melina. He calls her Melina, and she says that, with who you fit in, and he says blondes, and then she finds out that he never told her that he was alive, and that he already had other woman. She said to go, so So he does that. He goes. Also, one of the guys is also is also Dean Norris, who plays Tony. Yeah, that's Dean Norris. Dean Norris was also in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, is one of the SWAT teams. So Dean Norris in this movie as Tony. And Tony wants to grab Hauser because he thinks he's Hauser, but he lets him go. Arnold says, relax. Arnold says, relax, Tony, you live longer. And he goes now in the hotel. And meantime, this guy, Dr. Ed Gamer, shows up, and tries to convince Doug that he's actually in the recall. But he tries to poison him with that pill. But when he calls his wife, Doug finds out there's such a double cross, shoots the guy in the head, and there's a practical fail. Laurie says, now you're done, and a few bunch of guys jump, and they detained Arnold, and I love how Laurie was a badass. She goes and kicks him in the face, in the balls. She goes and busts him in the balls, and says, this is for coming to Mars. This is how I fucking hate this fucking planet, and she goes and kicks him. And that time Malina shows up, she kills all the bad guys, and there's a great cut fight scenes, between those two girls, between Rachel Ticotin and Sharon Stone, like a pure badass, I mean, she uses spin kick in the stomach, she punches him, there's a fight scene, a badass fight scene, and that is fantastic. It's great to root for the good guys. I love how whoever could have grabbed that scene, it was fantastic. Laurie grabbed the knife, she goes and overcomes Melina. Laurie tries to stab her, but Arnold grabs the gun, bang, and blows her to pieces and says, "Stuck. Honey, you're not gonna hurt me. Anyway, I'm your wife." And she grabs the gun, tries to shoot him, and Arnold goes, BAM! Shoots her right in the eye. Actually, no, right in the skull, in the head. Consider this for divorce. I love that. And Melina says, "So, this is your wife?" What, bitch! I love that. They both escape. They actually now go to Benny, and Benny goes with them. They say drive, and Ritter is pissed. They actually try to escape, but there's a dome, and hand doesn't fire, and of course Richter shows up and fires, but Ham tells him, "No, do you want to get us killed? The dome will crack." So they try to the other way. During the chase scene, Richter keeps fire, but Wade hurts him. He wounds him, and then he loses his gun. He grabs a machine gun and fires at them. He breaks the taxi. Excuse me. He goes and breaks down the taxi, blows the taxi. They of course now Melina and Wade, they escape because once again they escape to last resort. The people are protecting them, and I love that scene. You see a girl with 3 tits. It has some DDT. We see a girl with 3 tits, which is awesome. And Arnold, of course, Arnold is now in the ruins with Marshall Bell, who plays George, but actually Kuwait is a mutant. We see all the mutants. We see all the mutants. We see the mutants. That's the mutant. We see all these mutants. How they decide. They're actually the mutants. How they actually went and designed the mutants. He tries to escape. So now, because there's actually a bar brawl, and of course Michael Ironside, who plays Richter, he goes and kicks, he shoots the girl with 3 tits, and said kill him. They start killing everyone, but the people start fighting back with the troopers, and of course, Richter goes and uses his martial arts, kicks her ass, jumps out the last resort because all the troopers been now killed, and Cohagen now decides to turn off the air, which he does, and the people start dying because they have no air, and meantime, Gwait goes now with Melina. Gwait now he goes with Melina to ruins, and he meets Gwait. Actually, he meets Kuato. Kuato was attunement by George. Gwait talks to not Gwait. Kuato talks to Gwait and tells him open your mind, and he does. But because they found him, they overpowered all the resistance. They overpowered all the resistance, and of course, yeah, they actually overpowered all the resistance, the rebels. They overpowered them, and it turns out that Benny, who's supposed to be a mutant, he's actually working for Cohagen. He works for Cohagen, and he did he demands, he goes to Cohagen, and Cohagen shuts the hair down, so these people start dying, and it turns out that Benny was working for Cohagen. He goes and shoots George, takes them both hostage, and of course I love it when the mutant talks to Gwait and tells him, Gwait, go to save Mars, start the reactor, save the Mars, and I love that scene. So now Arnold, he tries to escape. So now Melina and Douglas are captured. They are actually both captured. They're actually both captured. They try. Excuse me. I'll be right back. Excuse me. I'm back. I don't want to fall asleep. That's one of the reasons. That's why I left. Anyway, so Benny was actually a spy. He worked for Cohagen. He double crossed, and he lied to Gwait and Melina that he's a mutant, that he has 5 kids to feed. But then he says, I have a 4, and I love Arnold's response. So what happened to number 5? Oh, fuck, you got me. I'm never even married. I don't have kids. I'm not even married. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance, his best performance. So yeah, so Benny shoots he shoots George, and Quato tells him, he tells him, Quaid stars. Save Mars, start the reactor, and he gets shot in the head by Richter. And now Melina and Gwait, they go to this machine. I'm just gonna show you this. They go to this machine, which they're gonna plant his memory from recall. That machine that can actually impel the artificial memory that he's gonna be Hauser again. Turns out that Hauser mindfuck. And I love Gwait says this is the best mindfuck I ever got, because he was mindfucked, because Hauser was actually a spy, and he never double-crossed Cohagen. He was friends with Cohagen, played by Ronnie Cox, and and they created Kuwait in order to came to Quito, and the leader, the resident, is now dead because the governor now he's living from the air. He's providing people the air, and now he has completely power over Mars because the resistance. The leader and the resistance is dead. They're all dead, and yeah, so he wants Hauser back. But when they put him the machine, great, he breaks. He breaks and he stabs the guy right in the neck. Bloody squibs, real rated R bloody squibs. He stabbed him right here. He went and he stabbed him right here. He grabbed an axe, hit the guy. He uses that long iron metal bar, stabs in the head. He goes and kills all the scientists. Saves Melina. They kiss. Melina grabs an axe, hits the soldier. They steal the weapons. They now both escape. And because Cohegan wants Hauser back, but he wants to be now great, so Richter says you have to make the decision. And of course he says kill him, and Richter says the goddamn time. I forgot to mention, but Han was actually killed. Michael Champion was killed by this girl, which I wrote down, Thumbelina, played by Debbie Lee Carrington. Rest in peace. She goes and stabs him, with the knife. I first thought that she stabbed him because she was a dwarf. I thought she was stabbing him in the balls, but no, she stabs him. She went and stabbed him. Real practical bloody effect. I love that. But yeah, so now when a platoon of soldiers are hunting down Melina and Doug, they actually use a hologram, and I love that scene. They go in the ruins, in the dark tunnel, and in the ruins, they actually ran to alien mine, where the reactor is located, but they're actually in those ruins, and and I forgot to mention. But they use a hologram, and soldiers are shooting the hologram, but nothing happens. And Dax goes and shoots all and kills all the platoon with the machine gun. Shoots all the platoon. Then also he borrows the hologram to Melina. Melina does the same. Shoots the bad guys. They shoot all the platoon of soldiers like a badass. They're now in this ruin, they're actually now in the ruins with they're actually they actually now Melina and Guaita are in these ruins, and there's a gigantic mining drilling machine driven by Benny, and Benny goes, and remember Great impales, Benny with power mining drill. He goes and cuts the old pipeline, impales with power mining drill, and he goes, Benny, screw you, and he kills him. And Benny says, who the fuck are you? And Great goes with that mining drill, machine goes, Benny, screw you, and kills him like a badass he is. It was awesome. Then he tries to go to the control room where the reactor is. And he fights off now with Richter in the elevator, and I love that scene when he cuts, when Richter falls down and his arm gets cut, and you see all the effect, blood effect, and of course Arnold says, see the party. Richter shows his arms. He goes now to reactor, but already Cohegan put a bomb, a plastic explosive device. Arnold grabs the plastic explosive and shows it, while Melina goes and shoots Cohegan in the shoulder, and because there's an explosion, there's decompression. They all try to fall down. He grabs Cohegan, shows him, to the mine shaft. He falls down on the sand, and his eye popping. He gets killed, and now Arnold goes and starts the reactor, and they both fall in the sand with eyes popping, but he saved Mars. He saved Mars. He gave them everyone air. He saved Mars. And on the end, he kissed the girl. And of course, the movie ends, and with a beautiful music score by Jerry Goldsmith. I love that. And also, I love the lines. The action sequences are great. Now to the retrospective. What I love about this film, why it has my retrospective, this film. First off, the effects for Mars, already said, are great. Great visual effects. Like I said, this movie won Special Achievement Award for visual effects. The visual effects are beautiful. This movie is beautiful, are fantastic. I love the vehicle, the taxi vehicle, from that model driving, the taxi vehicle. The taxi vehicle, I'll show you again which one I mean. The taxi vehicle is so beautiful. This model, this puppetry, how they did it, is beautiful. The puppetry, the model is beautiful, how they did. Love the visual effects. It has gory, real, it's rated there. It has real practical effects, like he grabs the guy for the shield and shoots all the bad guys. Real practical effects. Nowadays they aren't like this anymore. Besides special effects, it's all done for real. I love Arnold's lines, like when he said, I love his character because he's decent. He says, "You won, Cohegan. Now give these people air." And Cohegan said, "My friend, if I miss, you won't give a shit about these people." But I love when he said, "You won, Cohegan. Give these people air." And I just love that by Arnold. The same was by The Running Man, and I just love Arnold so much. I love this movie to death. It speaks to me. It's a phenomenal sci-fi action thriller. I love this movie to death. Paul Verhoeven's best film. And I love RoboCop, and it's hard to choose RoboCop between, but I actually put this movie above RoboCop. Nothing to guess, RoboCop is a classic, but I love this movie to death. I love this movie more. Total Recall is my movie. I grew up with this movie. And I love the lines like, "See at the party, Richter, screw you, Benny, screw you." The best mind fuck ever. Give these people air. I just love that. Why I will lie to you. And he also kissed the girl for the dream. He saves the Mars. He saves people who are dying. He saves everyone. He's a double spy, and I just love that. He goes and saves everything. I love that the reactor is alien. The reactor is built by aliens. I love the special effects for Mars. Get your ass on Mars. Get your ass to Mars. I love that. I love this movie to death. Love this movie to death, and of course, of course, get ready for the ride of your life. Yes, get ready for the ride of your life. I already said that that this is actually movie cost more than $65 million worldwide. It was actually a huge hit. And by the way, this movie came out the same year as Predator 2, my personal favorite sci-fi film. This was released in June 1. But Predator 2 was released on November 19 for Thanksgiving 99. It was after this movie. But I respect this movie more than T2 Judgment Day because it's a beautiful movie. It's a sci-fi movie. It's a futuristic movie to 2084. It's like about a man who's been chased and hunted down, just like this movie. Hard Target. He's been chased down. Because his memory came back, he was a spy, and he became a hunted man, and people are hunting them left and down. They try to kill him, and on the end he saved Mars. I love the character Douglas Quaid, I love the character. I love his character. This is my character. Love his character. Arnold Schwarzenegger's best performance, Arnold Schwarzenegger, love Douglas Quaid. I love his character. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's best performance, Sharon Stone was best performance. She was so impressive with her acting performance by Paul Verhoeven that they made together. They did Basic Instinct. He collaborated with her in Basic Instinct. So I love Sharon Stone. She's great. Really love Sharon Stone. Love Sharon Stone. Love her hair. Or she goes and kicks Arnold in the balls. That's for Bring Me to Mars. And that's for because how much I fucking hate this fucking planet. She goes and kicks him in the balls. Or Mila says, I'm gonna bust his balls. Rachel Ticotin, best performance as the Dringer for Quaid. From Con Air, she was in Con Air. I love the fight scene, the choreographed fight scene between Melina and Laurie. So that's what I love. The music score by Jerry Goldsmith, visual effects by Rob Bottin, practical effects, bloody sweets. I love that. It's rated R. There's like a lot of cursing. Screw you, Benny! Screw you with that machine. That's actually my favorite scene. My favorite scene about this film is actually Milos, actually called Milos Cohegan. Actually is with power mining drill. That scene when he goes gigantic mining drilling machine and Quaid impales, and cuts Benny with power mining drill. Screw you! That's my favorite scene in the ruins. My favorite scene. Melina keeps fighting with the machine gun on mining drilling machine, but nothing happen because it's all of metal. But I love the music score when Quaid grabs that power mining drill, goes and cuts and bores that amperes and bores that whole line, and he goes, Benny, screw you! I love that scene. That's my favorite scene in the whole movie. I love the scene, the fight scene when Arnold goes and kills the guy with his leg, breaks his neck, grabs the guy, breaks his neck. He goes and fights two guys, all four guys at wall. I love that scene. I love that the man, he's hunted, he's been hunted. I love that. I just love that about the film. Besides, Dean Norris was also later, he collaborated with Arnold in T2. He played the SWAT leader in Cyberdyne Systems during the night scene. Debbie Lee Carrington as Thumbelina. She was in season 5 in Seinfeld as Tammy. I mostly remember her as Tammy. The actress passed away. She was born on December 14, 1959. But she passed away on March 23, 2018. She was only 58 years old, so rest in peace. I love Thumbelina. I really do miss the actress. She goes and stabs Michael Champion. Michael Champion, who plays Helm, partner of Richter, did a great job. Best performance by Michael Ironside. He was actually awesome villain. He was in Highlander 2, The Quickening. He played a bad guy in that movie. He was a bad guy in this movie. He's a great villain. Fantastic job he did. Sadly, he's not on this. He's not. I don't have him on both the covers. But Michael Ironside, too bad that he's now really old and fat. By that time, he was skinny. He was great. There was a stuntman who jumped out of the window, but that was great practical effect. Or the stuntman who jumped to the monitor when they found that he has a gun was actually practical done. It was all practical, They did all practical. So Yeah, it was practical. It was rated there. Great music score by Jerry Goldsmith. Great cast. Great direction by Paul Verhoeven. I love his vision. I love RoboCop, but I'll say RoboCop will be my second favorite. This will be my favorite Paul Verhoeven movie that he did. I love Total Recall. I love About Mars. I'll put this movie above Blade Runner, about Star Wars, all movies that they did, all Star Wars. I'll put this movie about T2. I'll put this movie about any Arnold movie that's actually better. To me, better than True Lies, better than Last Action Hero, better than Twins, better than any of those movies. Because I love this movie to death. Total Recall is my favorite film. And yes, there's actually a remake out of it. I already mentioned it, but once again, played with Colin Farrell. But remake wasn't that good. It was PG-13 movie, and there was no Mars in it. They tried to do original story. Oh, I forgot. Total Recall is actually based on the short story by Philip K. Dick. Is based on the short story. We can remember it for you wholesale. That's how it was. We can remember it for you wholesale. Short story by Philip K. Dick. They actually, I think in his short story, it wasn't that great. It was different name, and in the short story it was also not about Mars. But they decided to do this movie about Mars, and like I said, Doug Wade, he dreams about Mars. He wants to go on Mars, but his wife disagree with him. Laurie disagree with him. He goes to the company that builds those artificial memories in. They plant them, artificial memories in your brain. He goes to that company and he gets screwed over. He gets screwed over, and people try to kill him left and right, and he's like a double spy. And by the end, he saves everyone. He gets the dream girl, saves everyone. It's rated there. It's not even 2 hours long film. It's 1 hour. It's only 1 hour. I think it's only 1 hour 53 minutes long. It's not that long. It's not that long. And why I respect this movie? Why I actually respect this movie? Why is retrospective? Because there are no special editions for this film. There is no work print version. We don't need it. There's no director's cut. Because I'm kind of tired watching director's cuts over and over. I'm glad that there's only one cut, and that's Paul Verhoeven's cut. I respect RoboCop more than T2, because in RoboCop there's only 1 minute long, while Terminator 2 Judgment Day has 3 cuts, and that's actually special edition. Now if you try to download it, you only gonna get special edition. I want to watch theatrical cut. The theatrical cut is nowhere to be found. You have to buy the disc, which it has all 3 versions on it. Or it's Ultimate Cut. They only have 1 cut in that Scarlet edition. That's only 1 cut. But I don't respect that by directors. I think it's overhyped. I think that T2 Judgment Day is overrated, overhyped. I think that not only that movie, I think even Alien. No, not the first one. The second one, Aliens, is actually overhyped and overrated, because it also has a special edition. Thank God I have theatrical and special edition. But I respect Aliens, but I don't respect T2. I think it's kind of overhyped movie. It's a classic, but I think it's overhyped. It's overhyped and overrated. But I don't mind it, I think Last Action Hero is overrated too. I think Twins is overrated too. Red Heat is underrated. That's what I think. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. But I respect this film. That's the reason it's also retrospective. My sci-fi, the visual effects, how Rob Bottin created the models, how created puppetry, how he did that head of Priscilla Allen, the head, that opens and closes, and the practical effects explosions the vision of Arnold Schwarzenegger, the vision of director Paul Verhoeven. I think that this movie should be talked more. I'm a huge fan of this movie. I grew up with this movie. I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Recall. I always watched it, or when he steals the suitcase, steals the suitcase and says, "Sorry, lady, but I need it. Fuck you, you asshole." And he goes like that. Bravo, I love this film to death, But yeah, it deserves 2 Oscars. It deserves a Special Achievement Award. It deserved it, But that's my retrospective movie review on Total Recall. 1990 came out June 1. I recommend it to everyone to see this movie. It's my favorites in my top 5 favorite sci-fi films. I love Total Recall to death. Anyway, that's my movie review and retrospective review on Total Recall. Have a good, take care, have a good day, and enjoy my review. And I'll see you in the next time. See ya, guys. I'm out. Peace.